Pretty sure. I think. Ah.
Indeed. Indeed.
Oh, shoot. Let me make sure I've still got the ads turned off.
Oh, you silly ads. How dare you? Hmm. What are you doing? No, out.
Yep, the ads are off.
Off. Yes, I'm talking to you.
Who's texting me now?
Damn it.
Oh.
I don't want liquid.
What?
Huh?
What did you just whisper?
I need a new soap dispenser, and I don't want a liquid dispenser. I want the foaming dispenser.
Oh. Yes.
I know. I know. Very, very important things to consider in life.
Why was I invited? DES class of 2034? Okay, so 10 years from now.
Okay.
Oh, that would be Finn's group.
Okay.
That,
I'm very confused.
no, someone invited me to the DES class of 2034 parent group. And I was like, my brain was trying to figure out who the hell is 2034?
Your own child. No big deal.
Well, I figured it was one of my kids, but I don't remember which one.
I mean, yeah, 50-50 chance.
But you know, there's the numbers and the kids, and
there are numbers. This is an accurate statement.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh.
Just how excused are you?
I don't know.
That's what I was afraid of.
I know. It's a tragic thing.
Is that life? Is life just tragic?
Yep.
Damn you, life of tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
No. See, here's my first world problem.
I
need a new soap dispenser, but I want the foaming. But all of the hand ones, like the automatic pumps, they're all like, they have the internally chargeable instead of external rechargeable batteries for the foaming pump. And I don't need like another damn corded thing to keep track of like, where's the special cord for this thing? Because I know I would lose it or put it some random place.
Yes.
And I have a bunch of rechargeable batteries that I invested in. So I'm like, no, I want to use my rechargeable batteries.
Okay. It is time.
It is? All right, let's do it.
So I'm going to switch it over here. I am going to dim the display on that computer. And we're going to hit record. We're going to mute Zealeus because that's how we roll. And then we're going to start. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Yelta Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Congratulations, denizens of the internet. You have made it yet another week in which you can now participate with us in the show of shows.
But of course, ladies and gentlemen, I of course am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
Don't forget my name, sir.
I was just stumbling over your title, sir. Your name was never in question.
I forget it sometimes too.
Ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any point during the show, if you have any additional questions, topics, opinions, thoughts, criticisms, just drop them in your chat, either on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, and we'll add it to the show. If we do, unfortunately, my goodness gracious, man, I cannot talk. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, we will add it to the very next show. So, without further ado, we're gonna jump right in as soon as Charlie takes a drink of something.
You must have a drink to soothe the palate for the talkings.
I just have a very parched throat. All right, let's get right into it. Let's start off with something a little lighter, and that is the fact that finally, a couple of EA classics are finally headed to Steam.
I thought you're going to say, finally, The Rock has come to our show.
That would be awesome, but no, not this
He's
week.
actually back in wrestling as like a heel now. So I've been watching wrestling again for the first time in like over a decade.
You just couldn't stand the Roman Reigns storyline, could you?
No, honestly, like I haven't watched wrestling in years. I just got bored of it. But I, like most people, I was enamored with The Rock. And he came back a couple times, but always as a face. And if you all don't know what that is, babyface is the good guy. It was kind of boring as the face. It was always like the guy who was really good at like being like on the line of like good and bad, but it was just pure good. But then he's come back this time and he's pure full on heel, which for those who don't know, that's like the bad guy. But the thing with The Rock is he has such a phenomenal charisma. And his sense of humor, like his one-line zingers, are just off the charts. Like he did like a 15-minute, what was it? Twitter video promo, and it's one of those where you watch it and like nobody can do that in wrestling, and you get bored of like 99% of them. He's like the one guy where it's like, I want more.
Nice. Yes. Okay. So, unfortunately, no, The Rock is not here. But there are a couple of classics, EA classics, that have finally found their way over to Steam. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I might have played a couple of these, but I have not played many of these classics, as it were. So here are, I don't know if this is the entire list or if this is just a portion of the list, but here is some of the games. The Command & Conquer, the Ultimate Collection. SimCity 3000 Unlimited. Populous 2, Trials of the Olympic Gods,
Wow.
Populous the Beginning, Dungeon Keeper Gold, Dungeon Keeper 2, Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, and The Saboteur. Now I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think I may have played, well, I definitely played Alpha Centauri, but I'm not sure about the rest of those games.
I definitely played Alpha Centauri. I've definitely played the Dungeon Keeper games. They're fun games. They're mixed between like an over-the-top world of like RPG, RTS, and then you actually have the true like RTS cities that you're building like underground. SimCity I played.
But that one? 3000? I think I played 2000. I don't think I ever
I honestly
played
don't remember what SimCities I played anymore. I know Populous is an old one. I could have sworn I played, I don't remember which one at this point.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I played briefly, not long, one of the Populuses. And I remember, I think I was like young at the time. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think I might have like dipped my toe into the Command & Conquer, but I feel like I was at my rebel stage in my life where I always wanted to get like the other game. And there was a series that came out about the same time as Command & Conquer. It was very short-lived. I might have only gotten one installation, but it was called KKND, Kill, Crush, and Destroy. And it was basically Command & Conquer, but under a different name.
I definitely played the Command & Conquers. There are quality RTSs. And so the original Populous came out in 1989.
Woo! There you
So
go.
I don't know which one I played, but I definitely know I played that one. But I know I played the Command & Conquers. Yeah, they're still considered. So what I actually learned at work, I didn't know this.
Yep.
Like there's different subgenres of RTSs in that there's a micro RTS genre where you're concerned about like individual units, and then there's the macro RTS genre. I didn't know this was a thing. I just assumed they're all like Warcraft or Command and Conquer or Star.
Craft.
Thank you. Wow.
Mhm.
I just kept on thinking Starfield. I'm like, it's not
Nope.
Starfield.
Nope. Definitely not.
I read about your review on Twitch or Discord. And so like there's this whole like breakdown of like on the spectrum of where these RTS is of the micro versus macro RTSs, in case you're really curious.
Interesting. Well,
and I have no idea where they lie. I just know it's a big thing from people who are really into real-time strategy games.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. It has been a minute since I played an RTS.
The latest one I played would be a hybrid RTS. It's what is this game called? I have to look it up on Steam. I call it a hybrid because it's a hybrid between an RTS and like an RPG type of game. I'm trying to see, where are you on my list? Can I find you? Northgard is the game. It's a good game, but it's a combination between a city builder and an RTS. It kind of melds the two. Against the Storm is kind of the same way, where it's like there's definitely the RTS parts, but then there's a little bit of or it's the reverse. I'd say there's a lot of the city building, like the Sim City, like the Warcraft stuff, without being heavily emphasized on combat, but there is that element of it. So the ones I've played recently kind of hybridized the two. It's not just one or the other. Because a lot of people, like, I know myself included, when I played like the Warcrafts and Starcrafts, I just wanted to build like a big ass like metropolis of cities. Like I didn't really care too much about the combat.
Yep.
And that's kind of like what the Northguards and Against the Wind. I think I'm totally butchering. It's not Against the Wind. It's Against the Storm. Sorry. That's what they kind of allow you to do, is be more of like just the city building, but there's still that element of combat, but not quite as heavily emphasized.
So there is a game. I don't know if I call this an RT. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's more tower defense than real-time strategy. And it's a game that Zealeus has actually played, but it's been almost 8 years, probably, and it's called Castle Storm. That's probably...
I played it. I don't recognize it.
Yeah, it says Zealeus previously played it. He played it for 4 hours, sir. I'm
Castle. Oh yeah, it's in my. Yeah, I definitely own it.
So, anyways, but
interesting.
But you know,
it's funny, like when you have a game like that, it's like, oh, I guess I played it. I don't remember it at all.
Yes, that's not a good thing. But again, it is 8 years removed, and we've probably played so many games since then. So
I don't remember what happened 8 days ago. So
yeah,
that's
exactly
true.
Exactly. So, but I find this interesting that, you know, that they released all these super classic games, I guess, if you want to call them super classic, now. Because we've had this conversation so many times where it's all about, would you go back and play the old games, right? Because there's always so much new stuff coming out. So I would be very interested to see how well these, let's just say, 8 games do in the Steam store, seeing that some of these games are many years old.
I think a game like Populous isn't going to do well because of the graphics.
Yeah.
Dungeon Keeper's been out. Like, I've played Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of these games, though, like say, okay, like Dungeon Keeper, for instance, you mentioned like there's 3 of them that they mentioned.
It's a Dungeon Keeper Gold and Dungeon Keeper 2.
So in a game like that, everyone's going to just jump to like the second one, right?
Yeah.
Because 2 is greater than 1, therefore it's better. SimCity 3000 might get some just based on the name, but there's been so many better city built, like Skylines, for instance.
Yep.
If you want to go hardcore, you go something like Banished. So it's like you've had so many city builders since SimCity, where like anyone who's into the city building genre, frankly, they've probably played City Skylines by now.
Right.
And it's a pretty niche genre, really. So I imagine people will be like, I've already played them. So I don't see those doing too crazy well. Command and Conquer, I think, is the one where I could definitely see some uptick, because there's still a very hardcore contingent of RTS players,
Mm-hmm.
but RTS is a genre that doesn't get a lot of love anymore.
I feel like there was a Kickstarter kind of like almost
For
Command
game,
and Conquer, but
I think
but it had like mechs in it.
probably. Um,
I
yeah, it's just
might actually have backed that back in the day. I think it's why I'm.
yeah.
Anyways,
But outside of kind of the ones I mentioned earlier, the hybrid ones, you're not seeing like triple A developers make RTS games.
right.
Um,
Yeah, it's kind. Well, well, I would say it's not strictly a single player, um, uh, type of game, but for when I think RTS
yeah,
is, I usually think that there's a storyline attached to it.
I agree. No, and the ones I played, they all have storylines, definitely. But I think you briefly mentioned kind of offhand comment is the single player mostly, which to that point, maybe why you don't see RTSs as much because what does every single AAA developer want nowadays?
Money,
Yeah,
transactions, microtransactions.
exactly. Online gameplay. Um, to really, and they want the games as a service. Or if it's an online game,
Yeah.
they want it to be a game as a service for online gameplay. But I have a sneaking suspicion. So, like FPSs work very well in that, right? Because
Right.
it's like the ongoing grind to increase your character. Like to me, it makes some logical sense. But like an RTS, I mean, obviously a very entrepreneur and engineering person could figure something out. But the RTSs as we know it, I think would fail on launch if they tried doing that as a games as a service.
Mhm.
They'd be like, it's an RTS. Why the hell is this games as a service?
Right. Right. So, anyways, all right. Next topic is. First of all, I guess I'm gonna have to watch the first season now. The live action adaptation of Avatar, not the movie. Let me clarify, not the whitewashed movie.
So like I was very confused because on my Netflix queue,
Yeah.
well, it's not my queue, but on there, I'm like, why is Avatar: The Last Airbender live action so heavily front and centered when it was so terrible? It took me a few minutes to figure out, like, oh, this is a different
Yes,
adaptation.
they did a. Netflix has done their second. Not really. Well, no, it's not their second because they had the Cowboy Bebop, the terrible
That's her.
Cowboy Bebop thing. Actually, I think they have a couple in there, but let's just say they're next, the next
Sure.
series up, and that of course is Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've heard like mixed things about it, and so I've been holding off. But now Netflix has greenlit not only season 2 but season 3, so I'm gonna have to jump in and actually see what it's all about. Although the Netflix were, I guess, wanted to be a little bit playful. They got one of the main character, one of the actors who was one of the main characters, to do like a Zoom call with the rest of the cast,
Mhm.
and Netflix basically made him word the thing where everyone. It was one of those situations where let's be happy. Okay, now let's give you some bad news, but let's be happy, but we're gonna be sad. And basically, it's like, hey guys, just want to get everyone together. Netflix. I talked to Netflix, and they said that we, that it was great to be able to do at least a season of Avatar, and it's unfortunate that they're not just going to give us a second season. He said that like you could see everyone like start to get teary eyed. He goes, but I do have some more news. They said that saying that we're gonna have a second season just isn't fair. And then everyone's like, huh, 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 huh. So they have to change their approach. And everyone's going, well, fuck, come on, dude. And then of course he revealed season 2 and 3 have been greenlit for now. Now of course that could change. Netflix has changed their mind in the past.
Yeah.
Netflix has also canned some of the bigger names series that were on their that are on their platform. So you never know. But as of right now, Avatar will have not one, not two, but 3 seasons, and of course, as a side note, the live action of One Piece has already started filming its second season, and the rumor mill is ablaze as to what characters and what storyline are going to have to be torn out of the One Piece stories, because there's just so many characters that you have the potential to meet in that second season.
I think I only watched like the first season of Last Airbender, the actual original.
I've
heard great things about it. Like, I just never got around to watching it.
I think I watched all of it. I'm pretty sure. I as they're doing the live action, I don't want to give any spoilers away, because I guess, okay, so here's a good question. If you have a series that's been out for quite a while, and then they do a readaptation, a new take on the series, are spoilers now back in session?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say more so, honestly, in that your audience, I mean, the anime audience is pretty niche. It really is. But when and I think that's one of the reasons we're trying to do all these live action adaptations,
right,
is it does broaden that audience to a large amount. And so, yes, I definitely think that is in. That don't spoil what's going on. My question is, honestly, I didn't even know this was happening. Or I probably heard about it and just totally forgot. Are they following the original, like, animated version's storyline for The Last Airbender, or is it like a completely different retelling? Do you know?
From my understanding, they're going to try to keep close to the source material.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not really, excuse me, it's not like the One Piece situation where it's just so much story and fluff. I think, and it requires a skilled scalpel to try to tone it down. But I think they're going to try to keep the characters. I don't think there's going to be any cuts of the characters. Hell, they even got the for those who've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated show, there is a random character that keeps showing up, the cabbage vendor. This dude keeps coming into these towns with his cart of cabbages, and they keep getting destroyed. Not only is that cabbage vendor in the live action, but it is actually performed by the voice actor of the cabbage farmer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
of animes, what would you like to see become a live action anime?
Ooh, that's
I already know what I want to see.
So I wouldn't mind seeing like a live action version of Trigun. But that being said, they are giving you, there is already a, like, I don't know if it's not really a reimagining, but it's different. There is something out there called Trigun Stampede.
Yeah.
It's a new anime. It's got Vash the Stampede. It's got Nicholas D. Wolfwood. It's got Millie, but Millie is not an insurance adjuster. She's a reporter. And so it's different. So I'm really confused as to maybe this was the actual manga that they're the angle they're taking it instead of the anime. I don't know. So it's different. But some of the characters are bleed over into this new one. So I would say, actually, I think where Zealeus is going is he wants to see a live action Berserk.
I was gonna say Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill too. But, okay, Kill la Kill would have to be on like a movie streaming platform. I mean, Kill la Kill. Good Lord.
No, actually,
that'd be very risky.
In seriousness, what I actually like to see is Full Metal Alchemist.
They got the movies. Have you tried? Have you tried watching the live action movies?
Wait, they have live action movies for Full Metal Alchemist? Oh well, shit. Never mind. Already been done. I'm so good at figuring this out. I already answered my own question.
To be honest with you, I would think that, I mean, there are definitely some anime out there that would the transition from animated to live action would not be that far of a stretch. And then there's some anime that you would never be able to do. Personally, I never, ever, ever want to see a live action adaptation of Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I don't think anyone would actually attempt to do that. They've done live action Bleach movies, so Bleach could make the jump. That would not surprise me. Of course, they're doing One Piece right now. I'm just trying to think of the anime off the top of my head.
I don't think Berserk would actually be a. I would actually prefer to see a full anime run of Berserk without doing this crazy start-stop action and jumping storylines and shit.
Yeah,
give me the full Monty.
Yeah. There. I mean, the other thing is something that a lot of people don't understand. I think which is unfortunate, is that anime is not all about karate chops and action and or robots. There are a lot of what they call slice of life animes out there that are a lot like the CW shows, and they've got your average sitcom and stuff. I'm currently watching an anime where two hitmen, they accidentally basically adopt a girl. What happens was they're on a job to assassinate this guy, and it turns out this guy has an illegitimate child, and the child basically hooks onto them, and then it, of course, changes their life. So it's kind of like three men and a baby, but it's 2 men and a baby, or I guess the toddler, and they're assassins. So,
So if they actually did a Berserk, I think we've talked about this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If it would actually be Berserk, I actually have my new, I think would actually make a good Berserk.
And it would be?
Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson. What has he done?
Or, sorry, Richardson. Richardson, however you say his last name. Jack Reacher.
Oh.
I mean, he's already big and buff.
Yes. And all you would have to do is just dye his hair black.
Yeah, he already has the whole nonsense, no nonsense shtick going.
Yeah.
He can do that. I think he's.
Oh, buddy.
Because everyone we've had in the past was old.
Dude, that would. I could definitely see that. That would be awesome. That would really be awesome. Good job, Zealeus. Now let's get to some network executives and let's get this shit on the road.
Let's do it. I don't care about the rest. Just make him happen.
Exactly. So, speaking of anime, let's talk about the fact that for the first time in history, Japan. Let me get the right name of the agency. Japan's Anti-Piracy Agency, Content Overseas Distribution Association, CODA, has announced that they have successfully prosecuted for copyright infringement the Chinese anime piracy site B9 Good. And this is huge because it's international, and that's really hard to do. I mean, you got to get a lot of tag teaming in to really grab this, to be able to pull this off. Now, here's the crazy thing. Okay, so that's 95. Oh my gosh, man, I cannot speak. There is a total of 45,880 anime that's illegally posted on the site. The site was basically, the number of accesses over the last 2 years before it was shut down was over 300 million. That's how many hits this site was getting or got in the past 2 years. And 95% of the site's access came from Japan, which is, well, I mean, anime is not just from Japan. I know that a lot of people go, well, anime is Japanese animation. It is technically, but I think that we've got studios all over the world that are now producing what you would consider anime. So good for them. Piracy, bad.
Just go get yourself a Crunchyroll account. Call it a day.
which I do. I have a Crunchyroll account, and I am greatly enjoying said Crunchyroll account.
There you go. See?
So, from my understanding, the main operator of this website has been sentenced to 3 years of jail, and a fine of $250,000.
I'm sure he's going to be able to pay that off anytime soon.
Well, he apparently, so the reason for that number is that it's basically the ad generated revenue that he had gained through the website. So,
yes.
yeah. So, I understand that, some people, I miss the days of demos. Let's just put it that way. Video game demos, and maybe even, little like teaser episode 0 of shows so that you can see if you actually want to buy into it. But,
You know what I really want to have a demo of?
What's that?
Totally random. Is Dragon's Dogma 2.
Have you seen some of the stuff that's coming out about it?
Basically, everything about it makes it look freaking incredible.
Yes.
Basically, did you ever play the first Dragon's Dogma?
I may have started playing it. I can't really remember. I know I own it.
It's a open world. I would say, how about non-linear?
Yeah.
RPG where you have your party members, but it's also not what I would consider easy.
Mm-hmm.
And by easy, it's as hard as you make it want to be, in that it's not one of those RPGs where you can just go run across the map, like collect all the mobs and kill them all in one hit.
Yeah.
You will die to do that. So it's that kind of RPG where you actually kind of have to think about your battles.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fun game. So I'm really interested to see on Dragon's Dogma 2. And everything I've read is it takes the first one and just makes it better.
Sweet.
So I'm very, very interested in it.
Very nice. Okay, so the next bit of news is that for those out there who still have Oculus accounts and data, all of your stuff is going to be deleted at the end of the month. Meta is basically making everyone migrate over to Meta accounts. So if you were an early adapter of the Oculus system, and you would like to continue to have access to your stuff and your account, please make sure that you just do the migration as soon as possible so you don't get dicked over.
Yay, Oculus.
Yes. Seeing as I was not an early adapter, I don't have to adopter. There we go. Not adapter. I knew that sounded weird.
You adapted
I
Oculus.
adapted it to the yeah. Anyways, so they did send out an email, though. Let's be honest, it's probably went to your spam folder.
Yep.
But you have until March 29th. But not only will it not on March 29th, not only will your account be deleted, but you will lose access to anything from that account, including games, DLC, achievements, and store credit. So seriously, if you have an Oculus account, migrate that shit now.
That is pretty harsh.
Yeah. Because they are sunsetting it to the ground.
Like now.
Yeah.
It has been sunset.
It's one of those, all the lights are out, the building is locked, and then they just blow it up. So there's no chance of you recovering anything from inside that. They just black hole it.
It's gone. It's deleted. It's vamonosed.
Yes. Now, speaking of gone, deleted, vamonosed, let's talk about the fact that, remember back, I think it was mid last year, how Epic won that court case against Apple when it came to the Apple Store having basically the monopoly of, being the only app store that could be loaded onto your iOS device.
right?
Well, Apple has now terminated Epic's developer account, so Epic can no longer do any more development for iOS devices.
Well, I'm guessing that's going back to court.
Yeah.
I'm sure they filed some kind of injunction or lawsuit or something. Talk about a giant pissing match.
No, absolutely. Remember, the reason the thing that really started this was the fact that you had Fortnite through the iOS store, and any transaction that goes on your iOS device, Apple gets a piece of it. And Epic's like, that's bullshit. It's our stuff.
Yeah.
We should get it all. And so, of course, ping pong back and forth. And of course, as Zealeus so eloquently put it, the pissing match just, it's the next round of the pissing match, and we'll see where it goes. But as of right now, there will be no Epic Games, any new Epic games coming out. Now, I'm very curious to see what about the Epic games that are already available. I wonder. I would assume that they also have been removed, but I don't know for sure. Oh, no. It says that Epic Games still have several pieces of software and games currently available in the App Store after the deletion of their account, such as Rocket League and Post Party. And now, of course, they... that's interesting. So there are several games on the Apple. No, that's not that interesting. Never mind. I'm gonna.
No, not interesting.
Sorry. Good. Epic Game was working on experimental Unreal Engine support for the Apple's new Vision Pro headset, but
yes.
I guess that's gone. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's like on one hand, it's Apple's devices.
Yes.
And so to me, it's pretty simple. If Epic doesn't like the 30%, then they just don't participate in the Apple Store.
Yep.
Like I'm not saying it's a good alternative, but there are options like Mint Mobile and other shitty mobile services you can use, or phones you can use outside of the iOS ecosystem. So there are options. But at the same time, I also look at it like it would also suck at the same hand if on the Windows platform, which you and I both use for gaming, is if all of a sudden Microsoft were like, you know what? We want 30% of everything that you purchase on your computer, be it from Amazon, from Steam, from whatever else. We're taking 30% off the top. So I kind of get it. Why Epic is pretty PO'd about it. But the other hand, I've always kind of been like, it's their choice of whether or not to be on the platform. They don't have to be. And I know their argument is that not being on the platform effectively neuters their income.
Yeah.
But that's their choice.
Right.
Like, if you don't like it, go elsewhere. Like, Apple's not forcing you to be on their platform. I always take the analogy of it's versus your ISP choice or lack thereof. In my house, I have literally no choice. I have Comcast or I have no internet. I can't go elsewhere. So that's what the differentiator to me is. On the iPhone, there are other choices. I'm not saying they're great choices, but there are.
Right.
So they're there. So by the end, it's two giant billion-dollar companies arguing with each other. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen. And I'm just kind of like, whatever happens at this point.
Yeah.
I know it does create some very interesting, because then you have the US App Store laws. You have the EU having like their own App Store laws.
Yep.
And it's like, now you have different law organizations mandating to Apple what they can and can't do with their App Store or not allowing App Stores to be loaded. So depending on what geographic location you're in, if you have an iPhone, you can and cannot load these different app stores. And sometimes it's even then for like X number of days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a very crazy convoluted system of app stores. I mean, I know myself. I mean, I've used an iPhone for years in place of an Android. And one of the reasons I frankly like it is it's simple and easy. I have one app store and I don't have to think about it.
Yes.
I think about technology way too much the rest of my day. I want shit that just works. Um, and I've done the Android route, and it's just, I don't want customizability for my daily driver.
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, the anime that I was hinting at, where it's two assassins who basically adopt a kid, it's called Buddy Daddies. Um, so
Sounds like a sounds like one of those buddy buddy cop films with like The Rock and Joe Pesci. I don't know. It's changing it up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if Joe Pesci actually still acts. He's pretty damn old by now.
Yes, that's true. That's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alta Confusion be the best Alta Confusion that we can be, and that, of course, is the friends of the show. So without further ado, let us start off with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the AV master himself, Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next one is for anyone who's local to the greater Atlanta area. This is the kind of guy who's going to help get all those aches and pains out of your gaming body. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're not a gamer, but you still have those aches and pains that you need to go away. Ladies and gentlemen, Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, Crosspad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alta Confusion? Crosspad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. Now, the final one is the original backer of Alta Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. And if you're interested in a really solid book, you can find out about the book that he wrote that's also available on the website. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you are just dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show? Actually, let me pause real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, if at any point, you're watching this recorded or you're listening to this via the podcast, and you want to find the information on how to look up all this stuff, it is in the description of the video or the podcast. So all the the email address and the websites are all there, just in case you may have run out of time and did not write down the whole website. So I just want to put that out there. Why'd you put Amazon up there?
It's the Agile Axiom book.
Oh, there we go. And that's Axe's book. Thank you, Zealeus. All right.
It's like way too long to find it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now, of course, you want to know how to become a friend of the show, and I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Ultra Confusion survives the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, swamp creatures, vampires, werewolves, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers available for you to submit or to subscribe to. You have the $1 a month, that's $1 a month or $12 a year, and what that gets you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in any patron-only post. Now, if you're feeling a little bit frisky and you want to be even more awesome towards Ultra Confusion, there is the $5 tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only does it get you everything at the $1 tier, but it also gains your name or organization added to the thank you section of every single, or the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Ultra Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today.
Yes.
And before we go on, ladies and gentlemen, I know that some of you are just dying to know, how do I get some of that sweet Ultra Confusion swag? Well, ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is go over to ultraconfusion.tv/merch. That's MERCH. And you too can buy a sweet Ultra Confusion hat, perhaps some vinyl Ultra Confusion stickers, flip-flops. I think there's a dog bowl up there now. I let my kids pick something to design. A notebook, flip-flops, and I feel like there's one more thing, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Zealeus, what all do I have up there now?
You have something for your hungry pet. It looks like a food bowl.
Yep.
You have a coffee. I think that's new. I don't remember seeing that before.
The coffee mug. There it is. That's the other one.
Yeah, because you had 4 before.
Yeah.
So you've added the coffee mug in the pet thing, but in my house, they both serve the same purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if I'm not,
it's a food bowl one day, it's a coffee mug the other day. I don't see an issue here.
Well, if I'm not careful in my house, the coffee cup would indeed be both a water bowl for my very agile dog, or something for me to drink out of. I don't drink coffee, so it's not really a coffee mug. It is a beverage container for me.
I'm very intrigued now.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next story. Okay, we're gonna go with this one, and then we'll go with the one that I've been kind of holding off on. For the second time in the history of PlayStation, giving full refunds to those who have purchased the game. The first one was Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah.
Because that was buggy as hell upon launch, and basically every platform was given a full refund until the company got their shit together. I can never remember what order the stupid name of the company is.
CD Projekt Red Key.
Yeah, that right there.
I'm guessing. It sounds right.
Yeah, it's Project Red or CD Projekt Red, whatever. Anyways, so for the second time in the history of full refunds, PlayStation is giving anyone who purchased and this is really, like, once again, it's not really surprising that this is the game that is getting a full refund. But if you, on the PlayStation Store, bought Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, you can get a full refund today.
I've heard nothing good about the game.
All I've heard is the blunders of this game. I haven't heard anyone go, you know what, this is a good game, or this has potential to be a good game. It's, can you believe the shit that happened now?
Yeah, it's even a game that failed, like what was it? Anthem.
Yeah.
That just failed epically. People are still like, it had the skeleton, it had the potential to be a great game. It just didn't have enough stuff to it.
Yeah.
Like, there was like that, kind of like you mentioned, like there's a glimmer of hope. Whereas everything I've seen about Suicide Squad, there's just nothing. It's just, and like, it's a bad sign when like the price has already been cut in half.
Yeah.
Like when like 2 weeks after release and it's already that low, you're doing something really wrong. Yeah.
So, the reviews that keep coming in for this game are all over the place. There's the out of touch live service elements and the low player count.
Less than 500 players.
Yeah.
From a
AAA title.
To be at least a AAA game, a month from release, already has less than five. It's their max players was on Steam was 13,500, which like indie games easily exceed that number on a regular basis.
Yeah, when an indie game catches fire, they blow that out of the water.
Yeah, I mean that's wow. Yeah, I would say the game has issues.
Yes, and so.
But hey, it's number 73 in top sellers.
Okay, I'm guessing then the refund option is not affecting the sales. I mean, because people are still bought it, but I wonder if the refund doesn't negate some of that sales numbers.
So what's interesting is it actually somehow has a mostly positive review on Steam.
Paid reviews. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Here's the first positive review. Buy it when it's more than 75% off. Not worth $100, but it has a thumbs up.
So basically, the positive is they got it on a heavy discount.
Probably.
There. Well, you know what? That's how some of the reviews are actually written. Is that I don't think I've ever written a review based off of let's say it's regularly a $60 game and I bought it for $15, and I don't think I've ever written a review where like it was worth the $15 that I paid for it.
I think I see those a lot on Steam.
Yeah.
Where people are giving reviews based on the monetary value.
Yeah.
Which I find a very awkward way of phrasing a review, in all honesty. Like, yeah, it's just an odd way to phrase it. Like, it's not worth it for $60, but it's worth for $30. Is just,
well, the other thing is that
way to do a review.
The other thing is when you write a review, right? If you actually write a true review and you don't try to fudge stuff like some of those infamous reviews that said, they played through the entire game and only actually recorded 16 minutes of it. Yeah. That by the time your review actually gets like read and stuff, that discount is going to be gone.
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think that's a good way of reviewing the game. No. Is using the monetary value of what it is. To me, it's like the value of a game is independent of the cost, is how I look at it.
Right. I mean, yes, cost could factor into the final step of actually purchasing the game.
Yes.
But I wouldn't review, I basically will tell you if the game is worth it or, in my opinion, or not. I'm not going to attach it would be just too weird and nerve-wracking for me to be like, you know what, this game was really worth $18.95. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's just too weird for me.
Yeah.
All right. I have beaten around the bush enough. Let's talk about the big story that came down this week.
Wait, there's the bush? Where's the bush?
Well, it's on fire. It's it's been extinguished and it's bad. It's bad, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no. I don't want bad news. I want good news.
Unfortunately, the news came out recently that Warner Brothers Discovery is shutting down a company that's been around for 21 years that has produced a hell of a lot of amazing online content. And the company I'm talking about, of course, unfortunately, is Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth, of course, is the company behind Red vs. Blue, Ruby, and Genlock. Genlock was on another. Actually, I think the Rooster TV, the Rooster TV stuff was on VRV, which was kind of like the rival of Crunchyroll, which of course is what I subscribed to for a while, because once again, I for some reason always have to go to, like, the rival. Then Rooster Teeth decided to leave VRV and basically stand on their own, and they did that for a couple of years. But Warner Brothers Discovery has shut down Rooster Teeth. The rumor is they're already shopping the IPs for Genlock, Ruby, and potentially Red vs. Blue. However, I did hear rumored that Red vs. Blue was kind of already on the wind down, so I don't know if they would actually try to keep that going, or if someone would want to keep that going. It truly is sad.
Unfortunately, everything I've seen about those, it's also not surprising.
Yeah, all these different models of how content's being digested, and it's, I mean, I understand it, but it is, it's something that has always been there for the past 21 years, and for something that, there used to be a Rooster Teeth Expo that I think was in Texas.
Oh yeah, I think Watt Kid went to it.
Yeah, Noodle Boy.
Yep.
Yeah, he went to it. He helped do AV stuff for them for a couple of years.
Yep.
And I was always tempted to go there, but I was only a Ruby fan, so I was kind of hesitant at the same time. But yeah, it basically, it's a reflection of business dynamics, monetization shifts, platform algorithms, advertising challenges, and the ebb and flow of patronage. All of these converging factors have led to so many closures in the industry, not just Rooster Teeth, because there's other companies out there. There is the company, what the heck is it called? Spearhead Games, who's the developer behind the RPG game Unforetold.
Mm-hmm.
They closed down completely. They did, and of course, Rooster Teeth has basically been told, y'all are closing down completely. I'd be very interested to see for those people who were. I know there was like a lot of like Twitch and YouTube kind of like chat shows that they were doing, just kind of like what we're doing here, the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I wonder if those individuals will continue to be able to utilize their I guess their brand, because I think they're called Team Roost. I think if I'm right, or if they have to basically rebrand everything if they want to continue to do what they're doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, their products have been also, I would argue, declining for a number of years.
Yeah,
like Ruby, like the first 2 seasons of Ruby is some of the most amazing stuff I've ever seen. Like, it is phenomenal. And it just kind of has lost that charm since then. What I will always love Ruby for, though, is it gave me some of my favorite Pandora soundtracks of all time, because their music is phenomenal.
Yes.
What's his name? Williams, Jeff Williams.
Yep.
I think is his name.
Yeah, I think
and then his daughter is also like, she sings a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, so the music has always been nuts for Ruby, and it is a great show. If you have not seen it, I definitely at least recommend checking out the first couple seasons of Ruby and seeing what the fuss is all about. Red vs. Blue is also great. I haven't seen Genlock, so I don't know much about that.
Genlock is kind of, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I want to say it had something to do with like, actually, I think that Genlock had David Tennant as one of the voice actors, as a really crazy ass, like all kind of unhinged doctor of all characters.
Makes sense.
But
I can see.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that right now I feel like every single week we're talking about 2 to 3 big names closing their doors forever or getting shuffled away.
Well, closing, and then also every week it feels like there's also layoffs
Yeah.
in the gaming industry.
That
It's
too.
like right now, it's like everything in the entertainment and tech industry is just shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you hear about is from all across the board is just like, as you said, somebody else is closing down. Um, and it's sad and unfortunate.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, for some or many of you out there who are watching this or listening to this, there was a time where an individual would go through higher education, land a job, and then they would be there for life
Yep.
until retirement.
Yep.
That, of course, as unless you're in very specific industries, and even then, it's very rare. Most people will either basically, as I like to put it, senior out, which is you become too expensive to stay with the company, and so they give you a nice package to say bye-bye.
Yep.
Or you are an amazing asset and you are working for way too cheap, and then you stay there until you retire. But because of the crazy job markets and stuff, there are always going to be places that you could probably jump ship. However, all these places that you could jump ship to could fall just like any other industry or
Yep.
any like the video game industry where oh, it's my dream to be with this company, and then one project passed and then you're out, because that's unfortunately how a lot of the game industry companies are doing it these days. Is you're no longer it's basically you are hired for the project, not
You're a contract. You're a contract worker.
Yeah.
If I had kids, I would actually recommend going to trade school.
Yeah.
Learn how to use your hands. Something like welding, diesel mechanic, electrical, plumbing. I know they all don't sound glamorous, but those trade schools, AI can't take your job.
Yep.
And guess what is going to have a large dearth of workers in the next 10 to 20 years as the boomers all retire is all those hands-on jobs. And they already make good money, but once they all retire, guess what? Supply and demand economics, you'll be in demand.
Right.
Like,
which means
like
that
me,
you're going to
like,
be able to pull in more.
Yes. And like shit isn't going to be able to take your job.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend people do nowadays. Go get a 2 to 4 year trade school, something with your hands, something like that, and you'll be set for life. Because we'll always need those workers.
Yep. It's not like Zealeus says, it's not the most glamorous, but unfortunately, that's steady employment.
I mean, what is glamorous about IT or being anything else like along those lines?
Right.
I mean, why is that glamorous? I guess it'd be the other way around. I mean, I know it is the perception.
Right.
Now, using your hands is not glamorous. I know I've seen in schools where a large part of it is there is the push for everyone to go to a 4-year college.
Yes.
And get those scholarships.
Yes.
And I think in a large respect, that's leading. There's certain students who are identifiable who are like, that is not a good path for them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other paths that would much better set them up for a sustainable living and probably a more successful living than a lot of the 4-year college students. I mean, we see it every day in the news where a kid comes out with a 4-year college degree and now they're working at a coffee shop for minimum wage.
Yep. Yeah. I mean that you're as much as the college, I'm not trying to shit on higher education, okay? But as much as they say, we have an 80 or 90% job placement rate, that doesn't mean the job that goes along with the degree that you spend a shit ton of money on.
Well, it's also, you look at those numbers and there's probably like asterisks of like job applicants who we directly tried to help.
Yeah.
Or kind of like you said, job applicants who took any job that we found for them.
Yep.
Now that any job could have been, I'm not trying to shut on coffee workers, but that's just the example on the top of my head, is we found a job for you at a coffee shop. Therefore, that counts toward 100% success rate of finding jobs.
A
So,
bakery cafe cashier.
yeah, they're going to fudge those numbers. The point is, like you said, they're going to fudge those numbers in any way possible because technically it's true.
Yeah.
Just not in the way that a young, impressionable student or a parent wanting a kid to go to college thinks it is.
Yes. Now, on a bright note, because Zealeus needs some good news in his life.
Give me good news.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just ran across a announcement, or I guess notification, that states that the Dragon Dogma 2 character creator is now available, and the character that you create in that creator will transfer to the full release of the game.
Bloody hell. Okay. I have a problem.
Yes.
I'm going to get this because the amount of damn time in these video games, usually RPGs or MMOs, that's been building a freaking character.
Yep.
Actually, you know the worst example for me?
What?
Black Desert Online.
Really?
I spent so many. Oh, it's a phenomenal character creation system. It's awesome. The game just does not hook me. I've tried picking it up like 3 or 4 different times. It just doesn't do it for me. But that character creation is epic. So that's a perfect example of a game that has that character creation system. And yeah, I spent more time, I'm pretty sure, creating a character in BDO than actually playing it.
It's kind of,
I'm sure I'm not alone.
It's kind of funny. I don't think I'm trying to think of what's the longest time I've spent with a character creator. I have to be honest with you. I want to say that I probably put in a good 30 to 40 minutes. I don't remember the game, but I could see it in my mind because it's so many freaking, dials and sliders. And then at the end of the day, it still looked nothing like what I wanted it to be. But I think once I got to that 30 or 40 minute mark, I'm just like, just go with it.
There was a phase where I went through some Korean MMOs. I can't even think of the names off the top of my head, but they all have pretty good character creation systems. And then with the first half hour playing the game, I'm like, ain't on board.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is they don't look anything like you. Diablo 4, and this isn't actually shit on Diablo 4 because it's not the only game that does this.
Right.
Because what I find the issue with character creations, it's not only just what the characters look like, it's the lighting. And to me, a good example is the hair. I might create a character with this like crazy bright blue hair.
Yep.
But because the shading is so dark, it looks like I just have black hair, no matter what it actually chose with my hair.
Right.
I definitely see that in games where it's the shading that really gets me.
Okay, so speaking of being the real is being able to like craft your character and stuff. I've always been a fan of when you get a new item, it should show in the game, right?
Yep.
But then I've also run into times where, because of the items I've received, I look like I got dressed in a very, very dark room and just kind of like fell over everything and then came bumbling out.
Yes. No, I know what you mean. Most of the game I'm playing, Last Epoch, is just like that.
Yeah.
Where I look like a village hobo who picked up the scraps from the first level dungeon.
Yeah.
MMOs are notorious for that, right? Like, typically, like the gear you have just looks so mismatched because, to your point, might have like a level 25 leather pants, a level 15 linen shirt,
right,
and then just for the hell of it, you have a level 40 male gauntlet.
Yep.
And it all just looks crazy wacky.
Now,
and at least myself, as many MMOs I played, I never care about glamours or how I look until endgame.
Yeah. So the reason why I bring this up is that I've been playing this mobile game, which is boring as shit. However,
good sales pitch.
I love the fact that basically you can have it where when you acquire new items, it just shows up on your character. But also once you have that specific type of like look to like your plate
Mm.
mail or your gauntlets, you can lock that in, and and that's you'll have that look no matter what you're wearing until you change. If you know, like you found something even cooler, then you could switch it out. The
Diablo
look.
4 actually does that pretty well. They have that for the system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Final Fantasy 14 has a glamour system, which doesn't really click for me very well, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like take your gear and like put it like in like this glamour chest and then separately reapply it to whatever you want. It's kind of weird. But I'd say Diablo 4 does that well.
Mhm.
It's exactly like you say. Once you pick up a gear, it then you dismantle it, becomes like a part of your, I'm just calling it a glamour set, if you know what they call it.
Right.
That becomes like your perpetual glamour set. They can then change it anytime at the wardrobe very easily.
Yeah.
And I like it when games
Mhm.
do a low cost of like a low cost barrier to just change your appearance.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can still purchase all the cool gear and stuff, but I like it when you pick up a piece of gear, it's just boom. Now you have it perpetually to do for like appearance.
Yes.
Make it simple. You still have to get it, so it's not just giving you to free. But once you have it, it just makes it easy. Like that, I really appreciate from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. So Zealeus, what games you been playing, sir?
Last Epoch, I actually just picked up. First game I picked up in the Switch for a while. I had to actually see how to pronounce this.
Okay.
It's I'm probably gonna actually butcher this. It's like Balatro.
Oh, is it?
B-A-L-
It's the card game.
Yes, it's become like all the rage. It's a rogue-like poker game. And the whole shtick behind the game is like you're basically playing against a points.
Mhm.
So meaning when you play your hand, you're trying to beat a points. They call it small blind, big blind, and then boss. So just as an example, a straight might be 10 points, a flush might be 20 points, etc.
Mhm.
But then you can purchase jokers where now your straight points have a multiplier of 5. So instead of your straight being worth 10 points, it's now worth 50 points.
Mhm.
Or you get another joker where instead of having 7 cards and you keep 5, now you start off the round with 15 cards to choose from instead of the 7, which obviously gives you a better chance of getting a better hand.
Right.
And when you beat each level, you get money to then purchase these joker cards, and there's other cards too to make it interesting. And the idea is you then purchase these cards to get more points because each round the blind or points you have to beat just go up. It's a fun game. I'm enjoying it.
Sweet. I tried out a game that I thought I was recording the other day, and it turns out I did not. I was not at all.
No!
And that game was called. I just want to make sure that I get this right. It's called Conway Disappearance at Dahlia View.
That's quite the mouthful.
It's basically a game where you are a retired private investigator who is strapped into a wheelchair, and a kidnapping has occurred to a small child across the courtyard from where you live, and you decide that you get that itch again, so you try to run an investigation. Unfortunately, your daughter is the lead police officer on the case, and she wants you to have nothing to do with this. But of course, you're like, but I have to. And to be honest with you, so far the story is interesting. The investigation mechanics are cool, but the thing that drives me up the effing wall is navigating in the wheelchair. I don't know how they have mapped how to move. I have gone in all weird ass directions and run into things. It's not a smooth thing. It doesn't make any sense. And then the other game that I've been playing, that this is probably going to be the next playthrough, and it's called NeuroNet Mendex Proxy. You're playing as an AI, and all of your literally it's just like a choice machine. All choice, basically all choices matter, and as you progress through the game, your choices will change the storyline. So,
Interesting.
yeah, those are the two that I have been playing.
Well, it's become interesting with Latro is I've learned. So you start, I think it's 8 cards. And so like you have 4 rounds basically for each game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to kind of balance, I've learned this after 2 runs, is you might be able to play like a 2-pair, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the question is do you play something else banking on when you redraw those 5 cards, now you're going to get either a full house or a 4 of a kind, because you kept that 2-pair in your hand. So it's like, do you play points up front? Whereas typically in poker, if you have cards worth points, if you get the next draw better the next round, you'll actually get more points in the end. So it becomes this weird, like different, like very different strategy than like playing Texas Hold'em, for instance, where it's like, what you have, you play, what you get. Whereas this game, you almost have to like, okay, actually hold on to my good cards to try to actually get better. Or like if that 2-pair has, if you have 4 cards in your hand that are part of a flush, and part of that 2-pair is part of that flush, do not play the 2-pair, try to get the flush instead later. But you don't know if you're going to get it, obviously, because of gambling. Maybe Craig Campbell should incorporate this into his next board game.
Possibly.
He loves it. He loves those cards in his games.
Yes. But anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our show. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting ready to come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. And we're out. Okay, so there was this article that showed up saying there's some Time Splitter 4 stuff leaked online, and every single video I've pulled up is just some YouTuber going, let's talk about this post that I found about a post that there's a leak. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nice.
That's not what I want.
I want to actually play the damn game.
I want to see gameplay footage, damn it.
I want to play the actual leaked game. Is that too much to ask?
Exactly. Come on, man. Get your shit together. But yeah, no, that game, NeuroNet, let's see if I could pull up. It's UR-Arc, a city management AI designed to manage a citywide AR metaverse known as the NeuroNet. Meet its many users, build relationships, and help or hinder their lives while trying to balance the wider needs of the city, finding humanity in a world losing theirs to technology. And yes, according to Steam, I have played 25 hours, and that's because the damn thing never exited out, so it was sitting in the freaking start menu for, I don't know, 20 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're one of those who has like a review of playing like 40 hours of the game, even though you never actually played it.
No, I will give you my review when I actually play the damn game. Like in that game, Chance of Sinar, which I have posted the review, right? Yeah, I posted the review. It took me through all my runs 7.3 hours. And I still need to write the Blaze Blue Entropy Effect one, which I've put 21 hours in, and that's a legit 21 because I've had to play so many rounds of that. And also, well, I haven't played all 21 because my kids played some of that 21, but close enough. Close enough. But anyways. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the stream. Got to talk to Zealeus. I'll